Final minute before the start of the 2025 season now is upon us. 11 teams out there. We'll have France back in the next event in January in Auckland. So it is all about racing. It's all about getting that pole position.
Yeah, and that blue triangle bottom on the right-hand side of our screen, that is the pole position. That's a theoretical best place to start to get to Mark 1 first. But what's going to be really crucial is hitting the line with speed. And even more important than that, are you fast enough to get up on foiling to get these boats out of the water, really minimise the drag and accelerate away. Germany very early back to the start, towards the bottom end of the start line. They're near the pole position, but Martini Grail coming in there on the Brazilian boat. Not sure if there's room behind Tom Slingsby's Australia. The boats are close to the line here. 19 seconds to go. Germany well positioned but slow. United States on a good run towards the bottom end of the line, top of our screen. And Australia, have they got room at the top here? Has Slingsby judged it right? Season 5 is about to be alive here in Dubai, and we're going to be go when the line turns white. We're racing there. That was so tight by the Italian boat, but it looks like they've judged it perfectly. At the bottom of the line, United States. I love the position of Taylor Canfield and that all-American crew as they drag race towards Mark 1. Who's going to be first to get on the foils? Can New Zealand pop the Black Foils boat up and flying? I think the United States looks strong to lead at Mark 1 from here.
Okay, not yet. Might have good pressure to do it, but unsure. Check your rake. Okay, adjust. Keep the rudders low for now, okay, so we're not bearing the bow. Keep grinding across here, guys.
So it's an H1 format for the Americans, the newly minted American boat, as they make their way to Mark #1 here. This is the first race of the 2025 season, and the Stars and Stripes are out in front.
Yeah, great positioning by the US SailGP team. They're going to get themselves round Mark 1. They might be able to pop the boat on the foil as they bear the boat away from the wind at this Mark 1, but they'll be most keen to keep good positioning here.
I don't think it's worth it. No, H1? I don't think so. And taking the rudders in neutral here. Let's go bodies in, please. Yep. Everyone.
Talk about not wanting to risk it, not thinking it's worth it. They've probably got to set a bit of extra distance if they want to get foiling. Canfield keen to minimise distance as he heads down towards gate 2 at the top of our screen. And Great Britain and the defending champion Spain, they're wallowing at the back of the fleet. There's really not a lot of wind if you get stuck behind the fleet in these light breezes.
3 races today. Remember, you get 10 points for a win, so if you sweep the day, you're on 30 points. And right now, the Americans, to the best start. They've needed this for a long time.
Todd, Stevie, Australia, they are up on the foils. Rockwell Racing are also up on the foils, chasing the Americans down.
Ooh, so Tom Slingsby finds a way.
Oh, he's got Chris Draper, the new wing trimmer, and he's renowned for his light wind skills. Soft hands. Rockwell Denmark up and flying as well. Those two boats are going to be charging through the fleet. But what's going to be more important is this next manoeuvre. Let's keep our eyes on Australia. Can they stay on the foils? Right-hand side of our screen now, they turn the boat. Will they stay flying? It looks so light as they approach the fans. I don't think they'll stay on the foils, but Australia from mid-fleet up to second, and they will be challenging the lead after this manoeuvre.
Lisa, we talk about the term patchy out there. What side of the course is less patchy and maybe more favorable for these teams?
I actually think the left-hand side is more patchy, but that means there's actually more wind over there. So the discrepancy between light wind and more wind is, so where Australia and Denmark, even though they weren't first to Mark 1, they found more wind, which is why they were able to pop up on the foils. But it's going to really condense at this bottom gate, and that decision, left or right, is really hard, Todd.
Yeah, I think the positioning-wise right now, Todd, Canada were the first to turn away, top left-hand corner of our screen, so they've got clear wind, but they're struggling to make much of a move. The New Zealand boat seems to really be maximising their performance towards the bottom of the fleet there. They're sitting in third at the moment, but they've made a lovely gain here. It's all about keeping the flow. Gate 2, you'd want to take a left turn if you can to try and move forward. Denmark, they got on the foils, but that extra speed fired them off the course, and they lost a 60-metre penalty for going out of bounds. So 60 metres this early in the race, so costly.
And there is the US SailGP team trying to find some win as they approach this gate #2. They have the lead. Australia in second, New Zealand in third, Great Britain in fourth, and then the Germans round out the top 5.
I think we'll take you up for the turn, okay? Copy that.
I think the US team there. It was interesting to see where all the crew were sat. We've got Hans Henken, bronze medalist, back on board. Bona fide Stanford University aeronautical engineer. So to have him down there looking at the wing, checking that wing set well, helping Jeremy Wilmot, the wing trimmer. The whole team dynamic changes when you've got less people on the boat and if the boat's not foiling.
Look at Adam Weiss going to work.
Hold there. And And hit it, Anna. I'm a little thin. Yeah.
Go.
Love the constant communication.
Yeah, it's all about communication, Todd. That's right. There's so many interactive jobs. It's like trying to drive a car. You've got the steering wheel, you've got the gear stick, and you've got the brake pedal or the accelerator pedal, and all of those are being done by different people. So if you don't do that well, very easy to crash. Now, here we go.
On board Australia.
Yeah, Jason Waterhouse, right-hand side, would be a flight controller, but of course it's a little bit light for that at the moment. We see Tash Bryant. She's going pretty hard on the handles as well. I doubt she's got quite the same horsepower as Anna Weiss, but doing enough. Chris Draper, wing trimmer, well, he seems to be settling into the role pretty well. First boat to take the other turn, the right turn, it's Peter Burling, Blair Tuke and that Kiwi crew, and they tend to be pretty good at finding their way tactically around a racetrack. So will they make a gain? Dylan Fletcher on board Emirates Great Britain, they follow out. It's low and it's slow at the bottom of the course, but tactically this is the absolutely defining moment in the race. Can you find speed out of gate 2? Will define whether you finish very high or at the back of the pack in this first race of the season.
That boundary in 20, guys.
So around the DP World Gate here as we make our way back up course. And Stevie, this will be interesting to see who finds the open breeze, who finds the space. Right now, it's US SailGP with Australia in second place. They are away from everyone else, away from the disturbed air.
Yeah, well, that's right. And as you say, I mean, ultimately, if you're out in front, you've just got a huge advantage. You get to make your own choices. You will have more wind. That's just the nature of the beast. So for the boats behind, it's a harder game. But we did hear Jeremy Wilmot, Taylor Canfield talking to each other then. And these conditions really suit them. Taylor, if you remember with their first event with Taylor as the driver, they came in Abu Dhabi last season. They got a podium finish, third place. So they'll be enjoying this. They talked about good wind, but these first three boats, just look at them stretch away from the fleet. Got a split across the course there, left-hand side. Well, New Zealand showing us faster at the moment, 20 kilometres an hour, but there's not a lot in it. I think that means that the Kiwis, potentially a small gain, but for Australia and the US SailGP team, well, they're moving away nicely, and they should be able to cement a good first race here.
So much of this about this light breeze, Stevie, these 29-meter wings is minimizing the maneuvers. We just saw New Zealand, looked like they were flying H1, one hole in the air. As soon as they went to the maneuver, both holes into the water.
Yeah, minimizing maneuvers is the key, but if you can get a maneuver in a place with good wind as well, that's really going to give you a big gain. I think, interestingly, we can see on our leaderboard, left-hand side of screen, Todd, Italy and Brazil, new teams to the league, 10th and 11th. I think the other thing people should remember is this is actually the first day for those teams using the big 29-meter wing. They've had a decent amount of training, 10th day in the boat for Marcini Grail, driving that Brazilian boat. And of course, this is, you know, it's going to be a bit of a sharpen up, a bit of a wakener in this light winds and 11 boats on the start line, but also this new wing. There's a lot for them to learn, but they'll be learning quickly. We've got no doubt about that. And it's, can they now turn this position into gaining a few places through the race?
On board with Mubadala Brazil, Marcini Grail, the two-time Olympic gold medalist, two-time world champion, 2014 Sailor of the Year, as we welcome her and her squad to SailGP in season 5.
Lisa, does it seem pretty even on the split between the United States and the Kiwis there, turning left and right? Is there any obvious place that you'd want the boats to be on the water?
I actually think the decision where the Kiwis went, that at that moment of time was more breeze. They were able to hold that H1 for longer. What was interesting, though, is watching Australia and USA come across. They both sort of maneuvered at the same time, but Australia had a really nice mode in that H1 mode. So although we'd like to see them up and foiling, there's a lot of technique in terms of how high you fly that hull out of the water to reduce drag and use that wing power sail. The only thing is, as we approach this gate, if New Zealand get that left turn, then they are going to go back into more pressure and likely to pop up on the foils like they did last time.
And it looks like the U.S. are going to bear off to the right-hand side as they make the turn at gate number 3, the DP World Gate. The Americans in the lead with the Australians in second, New Zealand in third. This is race 1 of 3 on day 1 here at the Emirates Dubai Sail Grand Prix, presented by Marinas.
Interesting choice from Taylor and the US SailGP team there. They've chosen to take the right turn. What that does mean is it means that Australia will definitely follow. So yeah, the interesting thing we're going to see here really is, as Lisa quite rightly said, New Zealand will now get to turn left. All these plans they make have a long-term effect. So will this mean they can do the downwind leg with just one more maneuver for the US team? They obviously like what they saw on that side of the course, but it's going to be New Zealand that has the best chance to attack the United States team, as they're going to turn left and not be following the United States on this downwind leg.
Stevie, as we watch the US SailGP team with Taylor Canfield at the helm, it's an interesting story because this really is just their second season. in the league, as they brought in a whole new set of crew members and Mike Buckley and that team that came in. And so now they're kind of getting up to speed, and I think the confidence is starting to show.
I think so. I mean, I do think these conditions suit, and we'll see. You know, a season's a season because, you know, we make sure we have a lot of events in this championship to even out the playing field. These are very specific conditions here. They suited this US team before. As we see the chasing down time there, Rolex chasing down time is showing that the US team is slowly eking out their lead. Again, they're a little bit ahead. They're going that little bit quicker. I think Slingsby might be trying to foil here. Let's listen in.
I'm just going to go neutral.
Okay, doesn't think he can quite foil. He's talking about the load he's putting through the rudders on either side of the boat. They have a lot of downforce potential right underneath where Tom sat, but obviously if there's not much wind, you don't want to be giving that upwind hull the downforce. Even if it will accelerate the boat, it could crush you. US first to maneuver away on the boundary.
Jason Waterhouse, Tash Bryant make the change across the side. It's a different story crossing over there, Stevie, when you're going this slow as opposed to when you're going 60 to 80 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, I think the term most sailors would use is you've got to move like a mouse in carpet slippers on a day like this. You've got to be so gentle around the boat. We see the US maneuver, Australia maneuver, right-hand side of screen though. New Zealand, look at them on our ladder lines. They're showing us gaining at the moment. They have a hull up in the air. United States will be accelerating here. They will be starting to get that boat back up to speed, but they're going to go through a lot of turbulent wind from the fleet. Has Burling found the magic bullet on this side of the course? Will he be able to make it down towards the finish line with just one more maneuver? This crucial moments in the race here as the black foils turn the boat. They'll be looking to accelerate as quickly as possible out of here. There we go, slow maneuver as they lose their speed. They need to build the speed. As they build speed, their wind will build as well. United States look good at the moment. They've got themselves up and going, but it is a gain to New Zealand at the moment. Can they get across the Australians? United States and Australia have the right of way in this situation. If they come together, New Zealand are going to need to avoid.
Come down so you can check this breeze better. Yeah, copy.
Definite gain here, Todd, to New Zealand. Can the Kiwis accelerate their boat? They've passed the Australians. United States look like they're in a good position at the moment, but it's going to be so tight. I don't see that Canfield can pull off a blocking manoeuvre unless he turns the boat soon. And if he does that, that's going to mean a lot of extra manoeuvres. What does the Rolex chasing time tell us? Still looks good at the moment to United States, making a small gain.
So US SailGP in control of this first race of 3 here in Dubai on the opening day. New Zealand is now moving to second place. Switzerland has overtaken Australia for third. The Aussies drop back to fourth with Denmark. And Nikolai Sehested, Rockwell Racing, currently sitting in fifth.
Looks like a decent patch of breeze just in front of the Kiwi boat there. Slight darkness to the water there. That's our indication as a sailor of where more wind is. Lisa, can you see any extra breeze? Who's going to make the gain? These two boats split on this final downwind leg.
Best pressure here right now, okay?
I actually really like where New Zealand's heading right now. I think that they're going to get a puff of pressure in about 20 seconds. I think the only difference is that the USA team will just have to do one maneuver, where the New Zealand team will likely have to do 2, and that will be pretty painful.
Yeah, we talked about the maneuvers really slowing you down. So there you see Taylor Canfield come up that yellow line, Stevie, the lay line. They pretty much can take it straight into the gate, and then the finish line is so close.
That's right. They've just got to come down towards this last gate, and then they're going to take a left turn down there. Hull comes up on the Kiwi boat. The Kiwi boat is about to really accelerate now. This will be a huge moment for New Zealand. If it was to shift, they could potentially get down there with no more turns. Here we go. This is it. The right of way will be with New Zealand, but the speed should be the advantage towards United States. 2 more maneuvers for New Zealand. They've got to go 1 turn, left turn on Mark 4, and they'll head to the finish, but New Zealand will have the right of way here. It's advantage New Zealand. Can the United States accelerate their boat? Jeremy Wilmot, big few seconds in front of him here.
So this will be the moment of the first race. It's the US SailGP team and the Kiwis going head-to-head, almost dead even on the course. But the Kiwis have 1 more maneuver to make as they've got to get around mark number 4. The US, it's a straight shot and then to the finish line.
Yeah, it's advantage to Canfield at the moment here, but he's got to watch out for the New Zealand boat. The Kiwis have to turn on that mark. They're not allowed to sail straight in New Zealand. There, look at that on the front of the boat, holding on to that forward sail, the jib sail, trying to trim it perfectly. It's not exactly how the designers intended it, but the sailors out there, of course, trying to maximise everything. Yeah, this is great news for the United States SailGP team. They should be about to start the 2025 season with a victory from here.
This could break a huge drought, Stevie. You got to go back to Cadiz last year when the U.S. won. They haven't won since then, so this would be a huge, monumental win for U.S. SailGP if they can open up this 2025 season campaign with a win in race number 1.
Well, you always like a new paint job to give you a bit of a win, don't you, Todd? And that boat looks pretty spectacular, and there's nothing more spectacular than winning the first race of the season. Nice job, guys. Taylor Canfield, he's called it early.
Yeah.
I think he's probably right to do so.
Nice one, 10.
As they approach the finish here in Dubai, it looks like the USA with the perfect calculations. As Lisa Darmanin pointed out, get to the front of the pack, stay away from everyone else. You don't have to get your elbows out, and that's what the U.S. did. They found open space, they found the breeze necessary, but it all goes back to that mark number 1 with the lead as they now approach the finish line, and it's pretty much a done deal, done and dusted, as they say, in Dubai, as U.S. SailGP will start off the 2025 season with a victory and the Emirates winning moment.
Yeah, well, that comes down to the start entirely, Todd. We'll listen in and see if we can hear any congratulations for their Emirates winning moment. Pretty calm on board. I think I'd probably like to see a little bit more excitement than that. It's a calculated win. They're obviously very happy with that great performance.
Like 2-3 or something.
That's 2 more races, though, to go, so they're going to maybe save it and look for a sweep. Remember, 10 points for the win, 9 for second, 8 for third, all the way down. If you finish outside the 10, remember there's 12 teams this year, but only 11 racing today, you do not get any points if you finish 11th and 12th.
Yeah, nil point is not going to be what people are shooting for out there. Burling and Duke on board that New Zealand boat. They'll be pretty happy with that. Liv Mackay, the strategist, on board. There's a lot of continuity to the team. Leo Takahashi, though, first race with the team. He's going to be happy to get a good performance, that is for sure. We're about to be 10 seconds from the finish of the race time here, and anyone that hasn't made a turning mark in that thing will go all the way back to the next gate, the cut-off time. So Switzerland will get a third-place finish, but it's going to be so
tight for Denmark. We'll have to remember where people were at the top gate. It might not be such bad news for Australia. Disastrous last win leg for Slingsby. Going to find out where they were at the last gate. We'll find out from that when we come back.
So race number 1 is in the books. It's U.S. SailGP that gets the first win of the 2025 season. So now it's the count back now, Stevie, and to your point, Australia, I think, was in second place at the last gate before they dropped back, and the USA, though, clearly the winners of race number 1 in light breeze. We mentioned their last win coming last season in Cadiz, and they really just seem to excel in this light breeze. As we move right on to the second race, we'll remind you the USA won race number 1, followed by New Zealand and Australia and Switzerland, the top 4. Stevie, forget all about that, except try to do exactly what you did in that first race if you're U.S. SailGP, because they had a brilliant start.
They did have a fantastic start. They just hit the line fast, and they had a little bit of space around them. Brazil were a little bit out the back that time. I'm sure they'll have learnt a lesson there. And as you say, plenty of experience on board. But there's less people on the boat this time. So can they find the space? They're quite nicely positioned at the moment. The trouble with starting towards the top end of the line is if you don't get that jump of acceleration, you're on the outside of the first bend. And we know any motorsport racing, you want to be on the inside of the curve. And that's why we're seeing the blue position there at the top of, towards the top of our screen on the start line there. That's the favoured place to be. It's going to put you on the inside at turn 1.
And 1 minute away from the start of race number 2, still a third race scheduled for today. Yesterday during practice racing, Stevie, we saw a lot of people come to the left side of the screen here and come in with speed. The problem is they don't have that wind power. Of course, SailGP, powered by Mother Nature, they don't have that acceleration today.
Yeah, if you're starting somewhere near Spain, they're shown as being in the favoured position there. That star at the top there, that's our pole position predictor right now, but they've got to be able to execute that, and with the angle they're sat at, they're going to struggle to accelerate. 36 seconds to go. New Zealand, middle of the line, they've just
slam the door on the United States SailGP team there. Burling taking no prisoners in the middle of the line. 26 seconds to go. Looks like they're in a good position on board that New Zealand boat at the moment. Canada will be able to wind it up and accelerate here. Brazil need to be careful they're not shut out. It's a question. Can the Spanish accelerate? How's the timing on board that German boat at the bottom end of the line? It's all about watching for the line to turn white. There's no room in here for Brazil if they're not careful. Here we go. Turn the boat down on board Canada. Turn the boat down on Brazil, and it's timing. How is it for there, Giles? Scott, great start by the Canadians. Great start by the Brazilians. Germany on the inside at the bottom of the line, but I love the speed on this Canadian boat. North Star Canada in prime position to hopefully lead the fleet down to mark number 1.
So it's Giles, Scott, and the Canadians that play the game almost picture perfect. As they were concerned about the Brazilians on the right-hand side, the rest of the fleet kind of caught up. So now you have the Swiss on the inside. Good run there from Sebastian Schneider, but it looks like it's North Star Canada and Brazil joining the Swiss 3 abroad as they go to mark number 1.
It's so tense on board these boats. Look at the Australians at the back there. There's just no wind. They're just in the turbulent, disturbed wind from the whole fleet. You can see the wing just wallowing around, no load on the sheet. It's going to be a long race to mark 1 for them. They need to reset and start chasing again. Interesting, mark 1, Canada is struggling to make it very easily. Germany is still quite nicely positioned to be on the inside out of mark 1 here. So it's going to be tight. Germany, Switzerland, Canada. It'd be hard to call who's winning out of that. But North Star Canada very much in this race. Paul Campbell-James, the wing trimmer on the boat. He loves these light conditions. He's actually, he's got a pilot's license. So that huge 29-meter wing to him, well, that's just bread and butter. We're on board the Brazilian boat. They're right in this race here. But you can see just hanging on the inside is Germany. Switzerland still barely keeping their wind clear from the Canadians, and it's going to be really tight. As we can see, race 1 winners USA in the middle of the pack.
250 meters, so just all about us and the Canadians here, just matching off to make sure they don't lap us or anything.
It's the voice of Lee McMillan there, the wing trimmer on Brazil. Of course, it's quite hard to see the other boats when you're on the opposite side of the boat. Communication's the key here, and it is a gentle, light wind drag race towards this boundary. When they get inside the boundary zone, Brazil will get themselves the right of way to manoeuvre, but Canada in pole position relative to them, and Germany lead the fleet at the moment.
I think we're pretty much a boundary now. Catching. We've got a long way to go. Well, 50 meters.
So talking about the boundaries, it's coming up quickly, and we'll see who the first is to blink. It looks like Switzerland has seen enough of this course right now. Sebastian Schneider decides to turn away. The Spanish turn away, as do the Germans. And there goes North Star Canada with Brazil right behind him.
I quite like where the Spanish have moved as well, at the top of middle of our screen at the moment. They've turned directly around mark 1, followed by Australia, so they're going to do extra manoeuvres, but potentially getting clear wind. Schneider's manoeuvre was well placed, Canada just about hanging on, and all the teams now desperately willing the next gust of wind to come their way. Lisa, can you see where that next gust of wind might come from?
It's so patchy, Stevie. It's really difficult. For example, Emirates, Great Britain, they were pretty much last at that start, and they just got this magic puff. So anything can really happen here. I think from where I'm looking, I really like the Germans. They manoeuvred early. They'll lead back in towards the gate. They're in pretty clear air here. I don't think the teams like, I think it's Spain, Australia, I don't think they're going to find any extra pressure over where they are, but they might make a jump on the rest of the pack over on this other side. So where Denmark, New Zealand, etc.
So Lisa will keep her eyes on the patchy conditions out there. Stevie, what you did in race number 1 has no bearing on what happens in race number 2. You look at the teams that fared well in race number 1, they are in the bottom 5. And look at Germany, Canada, and Brazil, who are at the bottom of race number 1, and they are leading.
Well, nothing holds relevance other than, I think if I was Germany, I'd be pretty keen to go straight and take a left turn at the bottom here, minimise the manoeuvre. So I think a lot of the lessons we saw from the United States in how to execute that leading position, Germany will probably go with.
That's it. Still got full flow.
This is the voice of Stuart Biffle. He's the wing trimmer on the German boat. So let's see if we can hear their plan.
Huge rowdy, I think so.
Talking about the wind having rotated to the right, that'll only help them here in this situation. They'll be looking to take a left turn and moving out.
Yeah, I think we might not have it though. CJ
for Paul Campbell-James. He wants a left turn. Giles there, he's saying, I don't know if I can make it. They all desperately want to try and minimise manoeuvres here as we see the fleet in behind them. Once again, wiggling themselves out of nowhere. Emirates Great Britain, look, left-hand side of our screen, up with one hull up in the air. They've halved the drag on that British boat. So has Rockwool Denmark, and they're going to be coming in fast. But Denmark, they're about to sail into the disturbed wind from the United States. Great Britain in good form here, but can they find a way to thread the needle at the bottom of the course?
There is space
It's all very well making a gain, but it's how do you overtake?
They're tight on leg for the right turn, and I think we want left turn probably.
You hear the voice of...
The voice of Hannah Mills, the
and
strategist.
Dylan Fletcher, yeah.
On that British boat. There's a lot of talent there. There's 3 gold medals between them, trying to problem solve what they've got to deal with. Canada did manage to make it to the left turn. Paul Campbell-James will be happy. And that Canadian boat now will be able to start working up wind, but out of nowhere, once again, how many times last year did we call this Kiwi boat Harry Houdini?
Yeah.
I mean, they were right at the back of the pack, and Burling's managed to get control of the right turn here. Look how many boats they've overtaken on this downwind leg, that New Zealand boat.
And if I'm not mistaken, Stevie, this is the same game plan he did in race number 1, going off to the right-hand side where everyone else went left.
Yeah, he loves to lead out of a mark, Todd. If you lead out of a mark, you've at least got your wind clear and you're somewhat in control of your own destiny from a speed perspective. That's easy for you to say.
Easy for me to
perspective. So he's trying to make sure he's got control of his speed. The whole fleet, look, following in here. Imagine that Australia will turn left. It's going to be hard for Spain not to do that. But Burling, yeah, he controls that mark. He's up to 3rd or 4th from nowhere, and it's all about where the wind is. Lisa said she liked where the Germans and the Canadians were going. I think Germany are going to boost away right now. But yeah, what a comeback from the Kiwis so early on.
I think we can do that, Jer. I think you've got it. You're going to be button hooked here. Okay. Yeah, you got it. Do whatever you want. Yeah, copy.
Taylor Stanfield talking to Jeremy Wilmot there as they get around the side. They've got Emirates GBR, Dylan Fletcher, and Hannah Mills off to their left-hand side. Here comes Rockwell Racing. The Danes coming in right behind that pairing. So it's Germany out in front here on leg 3 of 5. Canada, Switzerland, New Zealand, Australia, as USA drops down 1 position behind Spain on course. Let's not forget these races 16 minutes long. So, Stevie, we could get another situation like we saw in race number 1 where the race is terminated.
Yeah, we absolutely could. That's something we'll need to keep an eye on as the race goes on. And we might need to keep an eye on our language there. I thought the Brits and the Americans speak the same language, but I never heard the term button hooked before.
Oh, sure.
From Jeremy Wilmot. It looked like they'd maybe got a smooth rounding, but yeah, all of us learning on the first tee here of the 2025 season championship as we see Germany. Look at that. They got 12 kilometres an hour of wind. Their boat speed's up at 18. No surprise there. Burling once again has got more boat speed out of that New Zealand boat, but he's back in the well behind those first 2 boats. So New Zealand will be relatively happy at the moment. Looks like New Zealand are sailing towards good breeze, Lisa.
I'm on 5 rig already.
Yeah, they definitely are. So they had to be quite patient for about 20 seconds out of that turn, and then, as you saw, they were able to get that hull up in the air. So the wind out here, it's really thin. So what I mean by that is the gusts of pressure rather than moving. Of course, there's just sort of lines of it, and they've really done a nice job to be able to link 2 of them together, and it popped into H1 again after their manoeuvre.
Let it down, and I need you soon, James.
Eric Heil and the Germans in control of race number 2. We're scheduled for a 3rd and final race as you see the skyline of Dubai in the distance. The rumor is in this part of the world that the breeze fills in the afternoon, Stevie, so that's why we have the 20-minute delay at the start of the show, and we're hoping that breeze will fill in. Would be a great way to finish off with a 3rd race with a little more breeze.
Yeah, well, you know, SailGP powered by nature. Unfortunately, that's one thing we can't control is Mother Nature, but what we do have with these huge 29-metre wings is the ability to get some really tight tactical racing happening even when the wind is quite light. And for me, this is, from a sailor's perspective, so interesting.
I think pressure-wise, I'm happy with the left, and I think best pressure middle of the course coming through the gate now.
So that is the new driver for North Star Canada, Giles Scott, 2-time Olympic gold medalist in the Finn class, taking over the wheel for the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, and of course, Giles has got a Canadian passport. You know, he started his sailing career in Canada, probably more well known for his work with the British sailing team over time. But he did start sailing in Canada, Canadian passport holder for, I think, for North Star Canada. It's a really great signing, and it's showing out here. But it was interesting as well. We heard earlier, Eric Kyle was like, "Where is everyone? I can't see them." You're winning, mate. That's why you can't see them. They're all behind you, Eric.
No pressure yet. Just get down.
Only in their 2nd season, the Germans here in SailGP.
My wheel. You go.
Showing a lot of promise, especially in their first season, Stevie. We thought they might be in the back of the fleet a lot of times, and they had flashes of top 5 finishes. So the talent is there.
Yeah, I think one thing I've always noticed with that German team is they're very good at problem-solving the start. And I think they really learned a great lesson from what happened in race 1. And they almost executed the exact start that the US SailGP team did in the first race. Germany managed to see that, adapt it, and then make it happen. They've manoeuvred early here. I'm not sure if they'll get down to this final turning mark without doing some more manoeuvres. You can see how light it is there. Paul Campbell-James, the wing trimmer on the right-hand side, and he's looking up. As much technology as we've got in SailGP, he's actually looking at little woolly cotton bits of cotton wool on the sail that indicate is the air flowing around.
Coming in now.
Down.
Okay, so the Germans look like they're struggling to get to this turning mark. They're going to have one more manoeuvre. It's actually a right turn to the finish now for this race, so that gives the fans at the other end of the watching zone a view of the fleet as they come in. So Germany, nicely positioned. Look, top of screen there. United States, hull up in the air. That means they'll be going fast. They'll be making some gains, and they need to make some gains in this race, but great news for US fans.
So Germany finished with a 7th in race number 1. Can they turn that around here? There you see the USA at the top of your screen. They are in a top 6 position right now. Canada in 2nd. New Zealand, once again, the Harry Houdini of the Southern Hemisphere. Peter Burling has found a top 3 position.
Yeah, he's pretty good at wiggling his way out of a problem here, isn't he? Canada have got a hull up in there. North Star Canada up with one hull in the air. They will be making gains. Whoop, don't let it go too far, Giles. Woohoo! Absolutely maximise that heel to try and get the drag out of the situation there. Canada look like they're going nicely, but Germany well positioned here. I think Eric Heil could look to give that German boat a race victory, which would be some tonic at the start of this season. But yeah, looming in the background, the black foils, they tend to know how to find their way out of a problem. And Burling once again has got the boat moving through the fleet really, really nicely here.
On board with the German boat, Stevie, I'm checking the facts as we get ready for the Emirates winning moment. This may be the first win for the Germans in the history of SailGP, because if I'm not mistaken, they weren't with us for Sail Season 3. They came on in 4.
Yeah. I thought they'd had a race win back in LA in Season 1, but I might, in Season 4, sorry, but I might be right. We'll get our statistician looking into that one. Whatever matters is it's all about now, and in the now, this is a huge moment for the German SailGP team, and they sound pretty calm on board.
Canada H2 also.
It's all about consistency at SailGP, especially in the light breezes. You can have a bad finish. You can finish outside the top 8 or 9, but you can't have 2 of them. So with Germany finishing 7th in race number 1 and a 1 in race number 2, they are poised now on 8 points. The USA will look to close this thing down and hopefully get themselves in a top 6 position to go with their win in race number 1. And we'll break it all down for you momentarily, and we'll have Emily crunching the numbers to see how the Germans got it done. But again, Stevie, I think the common theme will be, if you start well, you will finish well.
Yeah, and Todd, you know what? I think actually your statistical brain was the brain we needed. I'm pretty sure the Emirates winning moment there was the first one for this German SailGP team. And we heard Stuart Biffle say that great start, northern twang, English northern twang. But he said great start, and it was brilliant work. But also brilliant work by these next few boats. Solid results when we think about putting a whole series together. Of course, it's about getting to the final on Sunday afternoon, Todd.
Just about 3 minutes to go until the race is terminated. So Germany is in safely. Canada will come in 2nd place. So a turning of the tables. Remember, Canada finished 9th in race number 1. So good for them. The North Star Canada team is in safely, and we will see who else can cross the line in under 3 minutes' time to secure their position. Otherwise, we go back to the last gate to see where everyone is. It looks like Burling's going to come in 3rd place, so the Kiwis will have a 2nd and a 3rd.
Consistency's king.
Yeah.
So that'll put them right at the top of the leaderboard right now, I'd have thought, you know, with such consistent placing.
How about the Swiss, back-to-back 4ths?
And Australia going to be a 3 and a 4. So there's a few boats already showing a bit of consistency out here as we see the US SailGP team come into picture there. A couple more manoeuvres to do for them. But they're looking like potentially getting a decent 2nd race as well.
Now the Swiss right behind the Kiwis, so they'll come in. Looks like Tom Slingsby, who was at the back of the pack. Remember, we saw on board with them. They were a dead last at the start, and here they are coming across. They'll get a good finish again. It looks like it'll be 5th for them, so a 3rd and a 5th for Tom Slingsby, the 3-time champions in SailGP.
It's really, fuck, you need to get to
well, it's a really nice, you know, Chris Draper, the wing trimmer on board. There's a bit of Bit of language, unfortunately, I have to apologise for that. People getting a little bit tense as they come in these light winds. But yeah, for Slingsby, I think it'll be nice and consistent performance, and really, I think, a nice settler for the new crew.
And the USA is just going to miss out on a position here as Spain, champions of last season. They come around the Americans, and they look like they might just get in before we are terminating this race.
Yeah, I mean, the US had the right of way there, but Botin expertly just gave enough room to let them in, but keep the speed on his own Spanish boat. As we see a tight moment there, Rockwool Denmark, they've got to give room to Emirates Great Britain. Rockwool Denmark have a lot more speed, both boats with 2 more manoeuvres to do here. It's going to be so tight. Still right of way with Emirates Great Britain is how it should sit at the moment, so Rockwool's going to have to go very, very wide here. Owning the inside of the turn is Emirates Great Britain, but Denmark, they keep the speed on, and they're going to try and go round the outside. Let's keep watching. This is so tight. It's low speed, but it's so tactical. Great tactical racing by Seherstedt there. He knew he had to give Emirates Great Britain room. He's done a nice job of that. Emirates Great Britain own the mark at the moment. Who can accelerate quickly? Can Rockwool Denmark stay clear? He's got to stay clear at the moment, and then as soon as he overlaps, here you go. Emirates now keeping clear. Now it's right of way Rockwool Denmark, but who can accelerate? Oh, Dylan had to keep clear as soon as they'd left that mark rounding. It was right of way Rockwool Denmark and Nikolai Seherstedt. What tactical racing by the Danish there. Brilliant work. Kept the speed on the boat, knew exactly where the right of way stood, and now it's can Emirates Great Britain accelerate before Tita and his Italian crew chase them down.
It looks like GBR is going to hold on for 9th place, with the Italians taking 10th for the 2nd race in a row, and the Brazilians finishing on the outside in 11th. Well, what a race. Once again, comes down to an amazing start, and the Germans executed the best start. Stevie, they got themselves out in front, as Lisa would like to say. They don't like to put their elbows out, get away from everyone else.
Penalty Denmark, relative GBR, not giving room at the mark. You'll have 5 seconds, finish 5 seconds after GBR.
Oh, so a change on the standings courtesy of Chief Judge Craig Mitchell. So GBR will pick up the 8th position. Denmark will drop back to the 9th position. But one thing we do know for sure is Germany gets the win in race number 2 here at the Rolex SailGP Championship and the Emirates Dubai Sail Grand Prix presented by PN. All right, 1 minute to go before the start of the 3rd and final race. Stevie, where do you like to be? Who's your dance partner?
Well, it looks like mid-line. Looks like the race committee have changed the race a little bit, and it's middle of the line, the favoured place to start. When we were on that high overhead shot, we can see Australia winding it up from a long way back. We know that the middle of the line is a good place to be if you can do it. But look, left-hand side of our screen, Tom Slingsby, Australia. Is he going to find a gap up here? There's no doubt the Roos are going to be coming in fast, but where's the gap? New Zealand, well-positioned, mid-line, look conservative. Brazil trying to find a gap through. I do not see a gap for this Brazilian boat in there.
Early.
Need to hit the handbrakes. Got to hit the handbrakes. Canada slow at the top of the line. United States slow. Here come the Roos. Left-hand side a shot. How's Slingsby's timing? I don't know where he sees a gap, but he must be seeing something. It's going to be a big moment. 10 seconds to go. Italy, they're threading the needle through the middle of the fleet. It's so tight in the middle. There is a small gap for Australia.
Look at this.
Has Slingsby got it right? How's your timing, Tom Slingsby? Oh, he's thread the needle. Have a look at it. Unbelievable there from the Australian, but at the last minute they didn't quite get foiling there through the gap. Spain well positioned, Switzerland, Italy and Great Britain, but can anyone match the speed of the Australians in the drag race to Mark 1?
On the right-hand side of your screen is the defending champions of Spain to be in good position as well, but give it up for Tom Slingsby, started way out the back, came in, nerves of steel, Stevie, because it looked like North Star Canada and the USA had a chance to shut him down.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it was very, very fair racing from Taylor Canfield, trying to make sure he accelerated that United States boat. Didn't quite work out on Australia. Well, they got the gap. Looks like they're going to lead at Mark 1.
We might be able to get going here. That's a little trim, and we definitely would. Yeah, he's flatten us out.
So he's really thinking about trying to get on the foils here. See if this Australian, but there you go, 2-1. He's trying to pop the boat. Here we go.
Ooh, look at this.
Oh, the Roos are flying.
Here straight away, transferring.
What a slick transition that was. World class. This is going to turn into a huge, huge lead, but it looks like the Canadian North Star Canada's up and foiling Great Britain. They sneak round in third. Can they foil as well? Oh, it's such a big moment in the race. First three boats are foiling, and it's going to be tight. That sprint to the top of the course there, the bottom of our course, top of our screen, gate 2, United States. Oh, they're wiggling around, but here we go. Look at the Australians. Can they stick this first manoeuvre? Looking to stay on the foils. Let's keep our eyes on this one.
Close. Turning.
Come on. Here we go.
Angle. I got jib.
Oh,
talk about a sight for sore eyes.
Oh, silky smooth Slingsby on that one. That was absolutely magic there for the Australians. They're going to lead at gate 2, and this is going to be a decent lead, I think, from here. They've fallen off the foils, but look how patchy the wind is. Those dark patches on the water there, that's different gusts of wind coming down. You can see how hard to read it is for the crews out there at the moment, as we see Australia there in second place, well set up for a left turn. Great Britain some 100 metres behind, but up to second. And New Zealand, top left-hand side of screen, first to manoeuvre away. They're back in the pack. Has Berling got a magic trick for us in this race?
So it's Australia, Great Britain, Canada, and Italy. Ruggero Tita, the two-time Olympic gold medalist for Red Bull Italy, having his best start as they sit in a top 5 position. Stevie, I like to call this salvage mode. In this third race today, you are now trying to salvage points, getting ready for tomorrow's 2 fleet races.
Yeah, well, our great one-time commentator, Freddie Dave Carr, he'd always talk about you can afford one bad one, but you can't afford a couple. As we see it, look, the British are up and foiling, so are Canada chasing down. Great Britain are going to look to go round the outside on Australia here. It's going to be interesting. What does Fletcher choose? Does he go round the outside, or does he choose to follow directly behind Australia?
So Dylan Fletcher will follow Tom Slingsby, and here comes Giles Scott and North Star Canada. That's your top 3, and look at the speed by Emirates GBR.
Yeah, and Australia have got to keep clear now. It's going to be a big boat speed advantage to Emirates Great Britain. Australia have done a nice job there. I'm surprised Fletcher wasn't a bit more aggressive.
So are we talking disturbed air now for Emirates GBR?
I think they're both just about clear right now, but they're about to sail in towards this boundary. That was Hannah Mills saying we'll get boundary protection, but the problem is when they both manoeuvre, it's going to be so easy for Australia to turn directly in front of Emirates Great Britain.
You like what Spain's doing?
Well, it's worked well for New Zealand both times, hasn't it, Todd? But as they come into this boundary, expect Slingsby to be very, very aggressive with the Great Britain boat and part the boat directly in front.
Yeah, pressing. All on boat speed here. Now I've got
weird screen.
Yeah, bad screen.
Big gap there. Those first few boats got up on the foils, Todd, and managed to make a lot of distance here up through the fleet. New Zealand have gained a few. There you go. Look at that. Australia. There is zero love lost there. Absolute slam dunk in the face of Emirates Great Britain. They'll be putting disturbed air all over the British boat now. It's going to be hard for Emirates Great Britain to live there.
Nice.
Dylan Fletcher might be second-guessing what he did when he followed the Australians around that last gate. So it is Australia out in front. Great Britain maintains their position. Emirates GBR in second, North Star Canada third. Then you've got the champions from last year, Spain in fourth, and Italy. Red Bull Italy, top 5.
Yeah, that's a nice performance, actually, because they're going to get out of this right turn at the bottom here, gate 2, in good shape. So it could be a great race for Italy. New Zealand stuck a little bit back in the pack. They're going to move up a bit. Australia, well, they're going to stretch away, I think, from here. Big advantage. Got the fleet all heading their way. And what's this we got down here? We can see the wind speed. Well, it's pretty even across the course, really, but if anyone's in more wind, it's Spain right now. Good news for Botín, but what a gap in the fleet. Those first few boats got the jump, quite literally jumped out of the water, got foiling, flew away, and now Australia, they're reaping the benefits.
And Stevie, we talked about this in races 1 and 2, topsy-turvy on the fleet, because look at Germany, the winners of the last race. They are now sitting in 8th place, with New Zealand in 10th place as we check in down on the water. Lisa Darman, and it looks like it's a little sportier down there, still patchy.
Straight away, no matter what. I think we will.
It is so patchy out here, but the thing, Todd, that's really difficult is it's just no pattern to it. So it's not like, you know, to turn left, turn right, and you're good for heaps. You really have to link those pressures together. Spain right now is in the best pressure, but that top left-hand side looks really light to me right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if a right turn at the next gate works out well.
Tom Slingsby choosing not to listen to Lisa Darmanin here. He's going for a left turn. Normally it does pay to not listen to us commentators.
Aussie crime right there, though.
Come on. But there you go. Watch this Australian boat. Can they get up on foiling? It's marginal right there. There they go.
Here we go, the lift.
Great fans for Australian fans. New wing trimmer Chris Draper. There he is. He loves these light conditions on the wing. Tash Bryant, Jason Waterhouse on the handles, working there, pumping that wing sail. Big lead. Slingsby wants to try and stick the manoeuvre while he's going fast. Speed's your friend, and Spain have got speed up to fourth, chasing down Canada. Can the Aussies keep it on the foils?
Potential foiler.
Drop the board, here we go.
Angle.
And they pull it off.
Oh, they haven't pulled it off yet, Todd. It's close, but I think you might be right. Oh, wizardry there, Todd. You called it, but Silky Slingsby again. They're really the best in these light wind manoeuvres at the moment. Emirates, Great Britain, they manoeuvre out on the boundary there. They have the right of way, but what can the Aussies do? Slingsby looks pretty good. This looks well set here. One more manoeuvre for Australia. Back in the pack, Italy, they've managed to stretch their legs. They're up to fourth. Denmark, they're struggling a little bit, Rockwall Denmark today, really. Can't quite put things together. Huge gain for the Australians there. That left turn went really well for them. Canada, Spain, Great Britain. It's going to be a tight battle for second down here, Todd.
USA getting back into the mix now. They sit in 6th place, 1 spot behind Red Bull Italy, who sit in 5th. Big winners on the day, though. If it holds up like this, Stevie, will be Australia. Remember, they've got a 3rd in race number 1, a 5th in race number 2, and a 1 in race number 3. That would put them at the top of the board.
Well, that's right, and they've said a fantastic race. I mean, what a change of strategy. I can't wait to see Emily's analysis of that last start. I mean, they came in from absolutely nowhere, threaded the needle, but this is a huge victory for Australia. What a confidence booster, and what a performance. Look in the pack here, how tight it is, though. If you're not out in front, it's so tight. The action at gate 3 will be really intense.
So it's H1 mode for the Aussies, the 3-time champions of SailGP. They were knocked off their throne last year by the Spaniards in a thrilling finale in San Francisco, but now they flex once again as they come to Dubai, and Tom Slingsby with some silky, slick moves as he makes the transition, is able to foil in this 3rd and final race, and leave no doubt about it, the Emirates winning moment goes to Australia.
There you go. Light wind there as well. Look at that, Chris Draper, new wing trimmer, getting the big ups from the Australian crew members there. Real nice first day in light winds. They'll be very happy with that. Back in the pack, it's going to be such a tight race. But we can see it's pretty tight. Emirates, Great Britain, they're second, but Spain have leapfrogged North Star. Canada at the moment, that's a big moment for Diego Botín and his crew. Of course, they normally love these light winds. This next manoeuvre will be tight. Really going to be tight, this next manoeuvre. Canada lead the turn. Spain should match. It's all about acceleration out of this manoeuvre. Canada first to turn, Spain match. None of them are going to catch Great Britain from here, but what are they doing? Oh, Spain are going wide. They've got to avoid that finish line mark.
Look at this.
It's no problem. That's not a mark of the course for them right now. They're allowed to go round there. All they're focused on is Mark 4 on Spain, Great Britain and Canada. Their eyes are purely set on Mark 4.
Do you think Diego Botín was thinking far enough ahead to think, I'm going to block Canada and get priority?
I'm not sure if he quite saw that mark from the slight inflection in tempo. My Spanish isn't great, but the fact that the voice went quite as high-pitched as that, I think maybe they hadn't quite seen it, but they kept some incredible speed, and they've actually sailed a lovely move here. They're now entering that yellow circle. They have the right of way. 5th place. New Zealand have made another little gain. They just keep chipping away here. They might be past the Italian boat. Italy has the right of way. New Zealand, they must keep clear of Italy. It's going to be really tight. Oh my word, look at this. Supercharged US boat there. They're coming in, flying in on the foils. New Zealand must keep clear. It's going to be so tight. Here comes Canfield. Can he stick the manoeuvre? It's really tight. Clear ahead for New Zealand. Just.
Yeah, helping me out with the rake.
Oh, now it's all about who gets into that yellow circle first between New Zealand and New Zealand and United States here. Going to be New Zealand. They have the right of way into the mark.
Yeah, we will on Italy though, right?
USA will have room on Italy. It's so tight here. What a comeback by the US team.
Yeah, they are fighting for points right now. The Americans would love to finish in at 6th place. That would give them great points on the day. And here they come around the last gate. This is the DP World Gate, and it is Berlin coming around just behind the Canadians. And here comes Brazil.
Look at Mubadala, Brazil. Martine going around the outside here. If she can keep the speed on, you've got to go really wide, Martine, really, really wide and keep it fast. What a moment for the Brazilian crew. They're coming around the outside. So much speed. They've got to keep clear. They have no right of way. They've got to go wide. Keep it wide. Keep it fast. Oh, here they come. Brazil on the outside, slingshotting around the US boat. It's all about acceleration for Canfield now, but it's fourth place for Canada. It's going to be fifth for New Zealand. Could this be a sixth place from nowhere for Brazil? What a manoeuvre at the bottom of the course by Martine Grael and her crew.
Somehow she found the speed, and Mubadala, Brazil, is going to finish in sixth place.
How's this for the fans, Todd? Look at that, 50 metres from the shore, all of these F50s just flying around that last mark. The big loser there's Rockwool, Denmark. Oh, but what an effort by Mubadala, Brazil. Perfect work. And there, Lee McMillan, good way to finish. Two right.
So Switzerland will come in and finish in eighth, and then it'll be Italy in ninth. And the battle to finish dead last, Germany is going to come in and grab the last point available, with Denmark missing out big time. Wow, take a deep breath, and apologies for the industrial language as they come in after three very tense races. Maybe not high speed, but very tense, Stevie. When it comes down to the final gate, the DP World Gate, and everyone wanted the same real estate.
What a moment. Yeah, it was so tight out there on the race course.
Roughly 90 seconds to go before we start this fourth race of this event. This is race number 1 on day number 2. 3 races taking place yesterday, and now they get into the box and start the dance, Stevie. 11 nations all trying to get in that prime position, and you see the pole position right now is in the center of the course. Why is that not at the top like it normally is?
Well, that's a race management decision. They can tweak where that start line sits in terms of angle to the wind and how it lines up with Mark 1. So they tried to put it in the middle, make a bit more of an even battle, and it's all going to be about really, can they boats hit the start line at top speed?
So it'll be 5 crew members on board as opposed to the normal 6. That's to save weight and give them an opportunity to get these boats up and foiling. That's the name of the game, is speed in SailGP. Mother Nature giving us a little bit of a helping hand here as we come up on 45 seconds before the start.
Well, there we go. We see the star above the Brazilian team there. That's the Rolex pole predictor star. So if they can execute their perfect moves from here, they're predicted to be first to Mark 1. But there's a lot of jostling to be done before then. We see New Zealand towards the top of our screen. I like where they're positioning themselves now. They're really going to be able to be on the inside at Mark 1 if that works out well. Brazil out the back. The pole predictor sits on Rockwool, Denmark. Important day for Rockwool right now. Well lined up for that pole position at the moment. Can they accelerate the boat? 15 seconds to go. Spain, left-hand side of our screen. They're already foiling. They're going to be coming in hot at the top end of the line here. 9 seconds to go. It's going to be Australia at the bottom of the line. Spain, closest to camera, coming in. Looks like the time is good. Diego Botín spins the boat. How does it accelerate? Oh, they just put the bow in, but they're up and foiling. Australia towards the top of our screen are foiling. They'll be on the inside, but can the Spanish accelerate over? Little wobbly on board at the moment.
Championship Sunday, and the champions from last year are off and running as they make their way to mark number 1 in Dubai. It will be the Spanish out in front.
Down in 3.
Oh, what a first leg by Botín. He absolutely nailed that start there. Rockwool, Denmark, they come round second. They executed that pole position well. Second, they'll be happy with that. North Star Canada third, and the Rolex sprint leader at Mark 1 is Spain here, and it's a short dash to gate 2. They'll be trying to minimise the manoeuvres from here.
1. Turning. Happy everyone up? Yeah, you're with.
They've got wind, they've got speed, and they are up and foiling. The Spanish making their way now down to gate number 2. This is the DP World Gate. They lead the way. Denmark sits in second, Canada in third, and here come the Australians, the Kiwis, and the Germans.
Well, New Zealand looked like they might have executed a perfectly timed manoeuvre there. They were fifth. They could well get the rights to be on the inside at gate 2 here, and they could be up to second. Yesterday, they took 6 places in race 1 on this first downwind, 7 in race 2. Burling, the master of the first downwind sprint.
Nikolai Sehested and Rockwell, Denmark, they split the course. They go to the right. Everyone else is following the Spanish to the left.
Of course, it's a race to the final today, Todd. I think that's what we've got to remember. It's all about making that top three. So for Spain, this is a huge result. Australia and New Zealand, well, they had a brilliant first day. So they're looking pretty secure if they can get a good race here. Rockwell, Denmark at the back of the pack. They've split the course. They've got clear wind, control of their course. As we see Spain, terrible manoeuvre at the top there. They tried for the foiling tack and did not stick it at all. Here we see Oracle Cloud powering our SailGP Insights, bottom left-hand side of the screen, and we can just see that the Spanish right now a lot more speed than Denmark. Much more wind, should be able to make a game.
Lisa, you've got the best view down on the water. This is like 3 of 7. Has anything changed in the last 5 minutes?
Really changed. In general, it is a lot harder to execute those foiling tacks. So the leg that they're on up now, it's a lot harder to get those foiling maneuvers.
All right, traffic is next, Kay.
Yeah, stay down.
Okay, I think we can see how hard those foiling manoeuvres are. Rockwell, Denmark on the right of our screen. They got so slow there, but the space they found did give them an advantage. Coming through the middle, left-hand side of the scene, the United States, sorry, they're making some gains out that side. They're going to need that if they want to find a final position today. Rockwell, Denmark must be careful. Spain have the right of way.
Trying to get the...
So Nikolai Sehested, Rockwell, Denmark will dip behind the Spanish with Diego Botín at the wheel. The United States on the top of your screen in the distance. They won the first race yesterday. Taylor Canfield and company for US SailGP.
Tight moment here, Todd. Spain are about to manoeuvre. They're going to turn. They'll lose right of way. New Zealand will be the right of way boat. Spain need to be confident as of crossing ahead of New Zealand. No, he's not going to do it. He dips behind. New Zealand will take the lead momentarily.
Smart move.
Well, he had to avoid it, but it was a punchy place to manoeuvre. They're going to have to go all the way back behind Australia, sailing completely the wrong direction at the moment. Burling now, he's trying to anticipate. Will Australia be able to get a piece of them?
Settle. 32's Leo when we go for it.
He has crossed ahead of New Zealand, has got the lead there. What judgment from Peter Burling. Spain right back in the pack now. They've got to watch out for Switzerland and Denmark. The first three, United States, great work by the US SailGP team. They've made a gain, but it's all about this top mark. It's going to be so tight. Getting out of here clean will be crucial halfway through the race.
So at gate number 3, it is now the Kiwis in the lead. New Zealand and Peter Burling, and look at the US SailGP team. They were in 7th place. They are up to 3rd, and it'll be a tight cross here. Taylor Canfield has to dip behind the Spanish.
Yeah, and he's going to have to watch out here. It's a really difficult position for the United States now. They're going to have to manoeuvre again. They're going to lose a lot of places here because they're going to be very slow. They're right stuck between the gates. Very weak position on the rules. See how slow the United States boats are. It's opportunity for those boats behind, but New Zealand, it's just great news for them as they're going to slide away.
So the Kiwis, like they are prone to do under the guidance of...
Oh, Slingsby losing his temper with Schneider on board the Swiss boat. They roll around the top, but vital meters thrown away there. Australia had to keep clear. Slingsby was not happy.
So it's New Zealand, Spain, Denmark, and Australia. And Stevie, as I was about to say, New Zealand and Peter Burling, they love to do this. Get away from the rest of the fleet, race their own race. Look at this, clean breeze, no one within 200 meters of them.
Yeah, and you can see just how hard the maneuvers are, Todd. But if you're out in front, you've got that little bit more chance to make decisions. I think what's so incredible is how tight the fleet get. Look at this Australia here. We're on board with Tom Slingsby at the back of the boat, trying to thread the needle there. He anticipates Australia's move. What's happening with Emirates Great Britain? Well, they're getting out of the way. Oh, my word, there's a Swiss boat in front of me now. Oh, it's Dodgems at the top mark for Slingsby. How he threaded it through there. Well, brilliant work. As we can see, Spain have made a gain over New Zealand. Lead change. They just found more wind. Lisa said it's gusty and shifty out there, and even the best cannot pick the right way at times. Botín, he's back in the lead as Burling crosses just in front of Rockwell, Denmark. Gate 4 is going to be some interesting decisions to make.
So Spain got the whole shot, led throughout the first 2 legs, and then they had to give it away because they did not want to collide, obviously, with New Zealand. They dipped behind both New Zealand and Australia, but now they find themselves back in first place, and they're going to opt for the same side as they went last time.
Yeah, New Zealand might well dip behind here. New Zealand did have the right of way there, but it would have been a lot of manoeuvres very quickly. Burling's hoping to be fast around the outside, and again, classic Peter Burling and New Zealand. Lead out of a gate turning if you can.
H1, Joey. And let's extend H1 and have the Joey up.
Look favoured to the Spanish mark though there, Todd. It could be a nice game for Botín out of that mark, and for Spain again in this race to the final. Let's remember it's really a lot more important for Spain. They're directly in a battle with Emirates Great Britain if they want to get to that final.
Spain did not have the best day yesterday. They started off with an 8th, then they went 6th, and then they finished the day off with a 3rd.
Points to game, but how many times in season 4 did the Spanish manage to pull a rabbit out of the hat on that one? Tight back in the pack here. Look, we can see Canada, North Star Canada, they were in 4th overnight, just ahead of the Swiss. Oh, it's so tight in that middle of the pack. Any little mistake and you can lose a lot of distance very, very quickly.
So many valuable points still to be found out there, Stevie. You look at the top 2 positions with Spain, and look at this. This is on board Rockwool, Denmark.
Yeah, well, Rockwool have room to be on the inside there. Great Britain will have to stay wide, but as soon as they exit the mark, then they've got to keep clear of Emirates Great Britain. And yesterday, Dylan Fletcher wasn't very aggressive. Today, he's got his fighting hat on.
And here we've got that race to the final. So as it currently stands, we would see Spain get ahead into the final ahead of Great Britain if they finish ahead of them in this race. But still plenty of action to go, still another lap left.
Yeah, the tiebreaker is always how you did head-to-head in the last race run. So if Spain beats Great Britain this race, they would have the edge. But remember, there's still one more race to go, Stevie. You pointed out there's 10 points to the winner of each race. So there's a little points to play for, especially for the teams that are currently sitting in 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Well, yeah, I mean, even Australia and New Zealand, they won't feel completely safe just yet. We can see both Spain and New Zealand turned away from the wind, made a big effort to get up and foiling. They'll both be feeling quite happy now, but at the moment it's Fletcher. He's the big mover in the fleet on Emirates Great Britain. We're on board with the Kiwi boat here, and it looks pretty smooth.
Right, phase.
Phase is still coming up. 2, 1, board down.
Constant comms between Liv Mackay there and Peter Burling, just discussing about how they're going to do with the wind shift, touch and go manoeuvre, so expect that hull to go in. Here we go.
Leo Takahashi.
That's nice. New flight controller, of course, on board the Kiwi boat here, Todd. A lot of pressure on Leo Takahashi, the flight controller there. New to the boat, we can see Spain. They've managed to get up on the foils again. Emirates Great Britain, Dylan Fletcher, he's got that British boat going very fast. He's making gains through the fleet at the moment.
3, 2, 1, down.
Other than that dip below New Zealand, Diego Botín and the Spanish Stevie have been very efficient on this race.
Yeah, they've been very fast, and they took a left turn last time. They've gone left turn again. Do you think that looks like a good move, Lisa?
Yeah.
I do think it's a good move. The wind is really funneling down that side. We saw that yesterday as well, so super strong. Everyone seems to be executing the foiling maneuvers out here, and the Spanish are just going for it. I think that's where all the gains have been on the upwind as well, so they are on the correct side of the course.
There we go. This could be a huge race here, Todd. Not far to the finish. I think the Spanish look pretty good here.
Yes.
They're sounding calm on board the boat.
Want to remember the new teams that have been added this year. Of course, Mubadala Brazil currently sitting in 7th place, and then Red Bull Italy in 11th right now on this race, with one more race still to go.
New Zealand look well positioned. There's going to be a right turn to do at the bottom, so potentially 2 more manoeuvres for the Kiwis. Could give Emirates Great Britain a shot at the Kiwis at the bottom here. Dylan Fletcher and Ian Jensen, Luke Parkinson, they've really started to find their feet. A new team, of course, here working together. And we see here our race to the final again, left-hand side. Emily's luckily in with us, looking over that. Australia, Spain still just ahead of the British on the points, but there's going to be a whole nother race to go. Spain need to hold on.
All going on. Keep fighting.
And happy to pop it,
That's the right words to be saying, Dylan, but it looks pretty good for Spain here. The Kiwis are
look
fast.
at this. The Kiwis are coming in quick.
I don't see a lot of room around the outside, though, Todd. As soon as they get over that, the Spanish are going to have to keep clear now, and they're off the foils. This one's going to go to the Kiwis.
And look at this. In the final moments of race number 4, Emirates New Zealand, the Kiwis somehow find a way for the Emirates winning moment, and Peter Burling and company come away with a victory in race number 4. And that is your Emirates winning moment.
Pete Burling's just discussing that first downwind leg after Mark 1 into gate 2. So far at this event, he has gained 16 points between Mark 1 and Mark 2. In Australia, they're going aggressive round the outside of Rockwool Denmark. Rockwool Denmark are going to have to keep clear. Slingsby's not going to let him off the hook here. It's another point for Slingsby. Look at this, aggressive. Rockwool have to keep clear. Rockwool have to keep. There's going to be a protest from Slingsby. You can be sure of that.
Oh,
and it's now a little drag. Here we go.
This is the umpires. Penalty Denmark. Winner of boat not keeping clear. Relative Australia.
There you go. Chief umpire Craig Mitchell in the booth. I've got to say that was a correct decision there, really. Rockwell had to do more work to keep clear there. Good comeback by Slingsby, up to 4th.
So the Australians will take 4th, and the points that go with it. Rockwell Denmark drop back to 5th, and here comes US SailGP in 6th.
Big winner in that race really is Emirates Great Britain, Todd. They were 3rd overnight, but tied on points with several other boats. And United States SailGP team was one of those teams. Well, it's not a bad result for Canfield, but he now is going to need to put some serious places between him and Emirates Great Britain. He does not look happy right now.
And then you have Mubadla Brazil and Martini Grail. Looks like they're going to settle for 7th.
Everyone there.
So the rest of the fleet coming in as it is clear that New Zealand, Spain, and Emirates GBR will take the top 3 positions.
Here we go, we're back on board here with the Spanish, and we see they just drop off the foil in that final rounding. Surprised they did that. That's definitely a mistake by the Spanish there, because they were well lined up for the mark. And of course, a foiling boat, 0 drag relative to a boat sat in the water, and they just fly around the outside. And well, yeah, Peter Burling said it best. It was beautiful. It was perfectly executed. And there's no better time to get in the lead than just when you're about to finish.
The last 50 meters, and New Zealand go past Spain, who got the whole shot and led for much of that race, but they could not hold on to it. So it's New Zealand that gets to win, Spain 2nd, Emirates GBR in 3rd, with Australia in 4th. And it looks like the Canadians will come in, finish in 8th, just 1 spot ahead of the Swiss.
I don't know what was that.
Well, North Star Canada there, that's left them work to do in this final race. It will be work that's achievable. There's a lot of points still on offer, but Canada, North Star Canada, really, Giles Scott's probably going to need a race win. Same for Seb Schneider there. Arno Sarafagis, new wing trimmer there, sat next to a Morgeo at the front, strategist. Well, they've got some serious work to do. They've got to gain some points. Tough first race for the Italians and the German teams here. They're not going to be happy. Rockwell Italy, well, we had great expectations for them. Carl Langfording as wing trimmer. Got a lot to learn, of course, and this is a bit of a rude awakening to SailGP for this new team.
Big learning curve for the Red Bull Italy team, as their best finish so far has been a 9th. Remember, with the addition of the new teams, after 10th place, no points awarded. So it'll be difficult when you finish in 11th and 12th in any race to make it into the event final. The team back there with Dylan's got a gold medal. You've got Hannah Mills, she's got 2. I mean, that's a loaded squad.
Yeah, Ian Jensen, gold medal, silver medal as well himself as the wing trimmer. So there's plenty of talent on all these boats as they head back into the start. But yeah, for Emirates Great Britain, he says there's no pressure, but you know, this is the Emirates Dubai Sail Grand Prix, so I think it's a little bit of hometown pressure on that boat, I'd say. And Dylan, you know, he'll want to perform, but they've been doing well so far, so no reason why they can't do that again. And for Spain, well, defending champions, and they're hunting them down, so there can't be any more pressure than that.
So there's the situation. New Zealand on 33, Australia on 31, Great Britain on 26, Spain 1 point behind. Just 3 boats will make the event final. You have to be on top 3 with points, and there's 10 points up for grabs for the winner of this next and final fleet race as we approach the 1:10 until the next race begins. All the teams now in the start box getting ready to do the dance and see who can get to that line and time it just perfectly and claim a great position. All the boats now in position. Spain out the far back. So 47 seconds to go until the start of race number 5. 10 points on the line. New Zealand, Australia feeling pretty good about things. The big battle will be Emirates GBR and Spain for that 3rd and final position, Steve.
Yeah, and Spain, left-hand side of our screen. They're definitely looking for that same plan as they had last time. Will the other fleet have learnt? Pole position sees itself sat in the middle. The Italians have the Rolex pole predictor star at the top of there at the moment. They're perfectly positioned if they can execute things. Emirates Great Britain, Dylan Fletcher, we just heard him there. We're late, but he is lining up that pole position there. He's going to try and find a gap through the middle. I don't see Rockwell Denmark letting the Spanish in at the top of the line this time. Nikolai Sehersted coming in. The boats all line up. They're charging at the line. New Zealand well positioned. United States well positioned. But Rockwell Denmark, they're on a charge. Nikolai Sehersted going to break the line on 0 if he's got his timing right. What a start by Rockwell Denmark. They're going to be so fast to Mark 1, but I think Emirates Great Britain got a nose through in time. They have to finish ahead of Spain, and Spain are out of the blocks like a bullet out of a gun.
Up and foiling in race number 5. This is the final fleet race here in Dubai before the event final, and Spain did exactly what they had to do, get a great start. Denmark will get the whole shot at mark number 1, and then it's Emirates GBR, so keep your eye on the British and the Spanish. Whoever finishes in front of the other will more than likely make it into the final.
Well, the Rolex Mark 1 sprint leader, Denmark there, that was perfection, and for Hested on that start. They're leading out there. They're on a bit of a battle to save some pride here after that, but they've lined themselves well up for gate 2. And yeah, it's Spain against Great Britain for that battle to the final. The last two Olympic 49er gold medalists, Dylan Fletcher in Tokyo 2021, Diego Bortin in Marseille 2024. Well, they're going head to head here, and they're absolutely neck and neck. Great Britain must keep clear at the moment.
As they make their way down to gate number 2. This is the DP World Gate. It will be Rockwell, Denmark that'll get there first, and here comes Emirates GBR on the
aggressive
inside.
love from Spain. Wow. Aggressive love. Great Britain had to stay clear. I imagine Botin will ask the question. That's going to go to the umpire, Craig Mitchell, to make a decision. That was a tight call. We'll find out whether they thought it was clean as Spain decide to turn away and take the other side of the course. Emirates Great Britain following Rockwell, Denmark up to second.
Chief umpire Craig Mitchell will have his work cut out for him, as everyone's going to take some chances on this 5th and final race before the event final. There is Spain going through in front of the Adrenaline Lounge. It is still Denmark, Emirates GBR, Spain, Canada. Keep your eye on the USA. They still have a chance to make this event final, but they're going to need a big performance, and they're going to need to make some passes.
Okay, so we've heard that was a green flag on that call there. Spain's move towards Great Britain was no penalty. Australia back in 9th, middle of our screen here, and we see an Oracle Cloud, Emily. Ooh.
And this is huge with Australia at the back of the pack. Look what that does to the points. That would see Great Britain and Spain through to the final, and Australia not. They need to gain one more position.
That's huge for Slingsby, isn't it, Todd? I mean, he's in the middle of the pack now, and we've seen that the Australian and the Kiwis tend to be the best at overtaking boats. Well, that's what they really need right now.
All right, let's go back to this situation with the Danes.
We can get one in.
There's going to be space at the top, holding back here.
Yeah, we're on that. They're looking for space at the start. Here we go. Listen to Nikolai as they come into the start here. Here we go. Look at him go. They accelerate the boat. It's a last-minute wiggle. He was maybe a fraction early, but timed it to absolute perfection.
Yeah, I'm going to hit him. Foiling, tech guys, 49. Pretty happy with the lay line. Agreed.
Well, we're back on the race course here, Todd, on this first upwind leg, and Rockwell, Denmark got great control of the situation here. Spain, they've lost a few places back to 4th, and it's the United States SailGP team that are going fast, but they need 3 places between themselves and Great Britain to have a chance of making the final. At back of the pack, though, Slingsby still struggling to get around gate number 2.
The Australians stay in this position. They will miss out on the final. And now the USA, where they're sitting in 2nd place right now, they would make it. So keep your eye on US SailGP, Taylor Canfield and company, as Nikolai Sehested and the Danes are out in front. USA 2nd, Emirates GBR in 3rd.
Oh, there you go. Canfield manoeuvres directly in front of the British. He's trying to lock down that 2nd place. And they've got some great boat speed on that US SailGP team at the moment. What an upwind leg for them. Spain have dropped back to 4th. Australia wallowing in 11th. That would be nil points for the Australians if they can't make some overtakes from here. There's going to be some pressure on that Australian boat now.
How would it be to see US SailGP win the first and last race, which would punch their ticket into the final? Their report card so far was a 1-7-7 and a 6.
Well, first real day foiling for their returning flight controller Hans Henken, of course, and you know, I think he'll be really enjoying it. That US boat is foiling nice and smooth, good boat speed at the moment to have moved through the fleet like that, so they're going to be working like that. Whole nother lap to go. Hannah Mills confirming that for Dylan.
Rolling away.
GBR have got to be careful, because Spain, well, they've absolutely halved the distance back to the British. And of course, it's important we remember, should there be any ties at the end of this, it's the boat that finishes ahead in the last race that will win on the tiebreak.
And the shake-up really does continue. That overtake by the US team getting ahead of Spain and GBR would see them through to the final, tied on points with Spain. So Spain right now are really going to be looking to get up on the foils.
You see Dylan Fletcher there at the wheel, taking over for Sir Ben Ainsley. He's got Hannah Mills on board as well.
It's so hard on these downwind legs there. You see they're struggling to pull off foiling manoeuvres. That's because there's so much turbulent wind from the boats towards the back of the fleet. We can see there the Italians, they'll be chewing up the wind. The British are going to sail into less wind, and if you're in less wind, there's just less horsepower out there for you. Right now, it's Sejersted. Bit of a masterclass for Rockwool, Denmark, but Taylor Canfield, he's made some big overtakes. One more lap to go for the US SailGP team. Can they keep finding the puffs, the breeze that they're in right now to get themselves around the course quickly?
Keep it going. Pumping hard here, guys, and twist out. I think we follow. Yeah, I agree.
So let's take a look at the Rolex chasing time, and this is the USA and Great Britain, and right now the USA has a 17-second lead over Emirates GBR. This is important. Why? Because if the USA can stay in this top two positions, Stevie, they are guaranteed a spot in that event final.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel like anything's guaranteed right now, does it, Todd? But you're right. On the points, that's what they need to do. Bottin, he's the predator here on the left-hand side of our screen. The Spanish boat needs to make some overtakes, and the worst thing they can do is be feeling like they're going to follow. Emirates Great Britain manoeuvre away. The Spanish will get a split on the British at the bottom of the course here. The Spanish will turn left, Great Britain will turn right, and that is opportunity for Bottin. He's going to go a different way. If you sail a different way, there's chance of finding more wind.
And I've got to think something's going on with the Australian boat, Stevie. They are dead last in 11th place right now. You've got Switzerland, Red Bull Italy, and Mubadala Brazil. Then you have the Australians who have been doing so well, winning race number 3 and finishing 4th in race 4.
Yeah, all the Spanish are off the foils. Spanish are off the foils. It's going to be so costly. They're going to get slow around that mark. Great Britain foil away the other way. Bottin, he had a look. He had a look. He's aware that British boat's the one he needs to beat, and they need to find wind now and accelerate that Spanish boat.
It's going to be a tough here. It feels like a big header.
Yeah, tough here. Feels like a header. That means the winds maybe change direction and turn them away from the next gate, but Canfield's on that. He's turned the boat, he's changed tacks, and that means he'll be heading on the tack, taking him up the ladder the quickest here. So should be a gain for US here.
Okay, no slower, please. Copy. In this gust, though,
well, for US SailGP, let's take a look at this with the Emirates fly time. Currently at 81.3%, so that's pretty good considering what Lisa Darman had been reporting as far as the where the wind was going to be, if it was going to be patchy, if it was going to be consistent today.
Yeah, that's right. We can see that just dropped off the foil there. It's definitely lost a little bit, but again, they're trying to make the choice to progress straight up the ladder. We can see in the background there, Emirates Great Britain, they're off the foil as well. Only 50 metres over the Spanish at the moment.
Just locking in at 22, 23. Yeah, great.
And here's that race to the final. Still the same top 3 teams as previously. New Zealand, Great Britain, USA through. Spain tied on points with the USA.
Well, what that tells me, Stevie, is don't write anything in pen. No, everything's in pencil right now.
Yeah, it really is in pencil, because we see top right-hand corner of our screen, really, it's the battle between Emirates Great Britain and Dylan Fletcher. Oh, he turns so close to that mark. Good judgment by the British there in the end. Right on top of the Spanish. He won't be affecting their wind, but he's keeping a close eye on that Spanish boat right now. These two out in front, well, they're going well. They've got a good lead. I think Rockwool, Denmark should be in a good position to hold the lead to the finish here. Can Spain get foiling?
So this is leg 5 of 7. They'll go through this 5th gate, then downwind, then a right-hand turn to the finish line in front of the Adrenaline Lounge. We check in on the water with Lisa Darman. And Lisa, any changing conditions that may throw a wrench in the system for these two top boats, Denmark and USA?
I was just going to say, Todd, I know it said it was less patchy, but it's definitely getting more patchy throughout the afternoon. So you have to make sure you try to do your maneuver when you're in the most pressure. Otherwise, it's not going to be a foiling one. It's a real battle out here, but I think with Rockwool, Denmark and the USA team, they've got a really comfortable lead here, and it looks like Great Britain will follow.
This is the umpires. Penalty Brazil, not entitled to mark room, relative Switzerland. Go behind Switzerland.
Costly one there. That was down at that downwind gate to the top right-hand side of here. The Brazilians are going to have to drop behind the Swiss. This could potentially open a door for Australia if the Swiss and the Brazilians get a little tangled up. But the Australians at the moment, they're wallowing at the back. Definitely feels like they've got problems. United States, they look like they're going fast here. They're in 2nd place, look well set up. Spanish, they've lost a lot of distance to Great Britain here. That could mean our finalists are going to be laid in stone fairly soon.
Yeah, we need to. We cannot lose this position against Germany. Full speed here. We really need it. Yeah, let's speed.
He's heard the urgency on board. Florian Triddle talking to him.
With that position change, that does drop Spain onto 31 points.
Turning.
But yeah, and I think actually Florian's maybe 1 point off, because I think perhaps he thinks if they were in that other position, they would be in the final. Maybe not quite aware enough of where the United States are, but there's a lot of boats to keep track of here, and Rockwell Denmark's been a good one.
Nikolai Sehested and Rockwell Denmark bring it across the line for the Emirates winning moment as they claim the victory in race number 5.
Oh, thank you. At least we know we can do it when we're foiling, and then we'll figure out how we do that stuff yesterday.
There you go, yeah. That's a good day for Rockwell Denmark. And of course, it's all about the championship season. It's a long season ahead, and I think overall that will have really helped them. But what a start to season here for the United States. Going to have to watch out, though, because the British are foiling, and if the British can get round, no, Britain are happy to avoid contact. I think Dylan will know that they're well lined up to make their way through to the final. So United States and Great Britain looking pretty good right now.
U.S. SailGP, Taylor Canfield and company crossed the line when they needed it most. They deliver as they get that second place finish, and that will get them into the event final.
Nice work, guys.
That's a bit more like it. A bit of a celebration on board there. We can see the Spanish here been overtaken by the Germans. 2 more manoeuvres for the Germans from here, though, so Spain could well get up to 4th here, which will mean a decent event finish, but they'll be disappointed to not make the final here in Dubai.
No question about it. They're using Diego Botín, top of your screen. Eric Heil on the right-hand side. Remember, the Germans got a big victory yesterday in race number 2 as they outdid Canada and New Zealand to get that win. So, Stevie, you see the parity starting to form. On any given day, almost any team in the fleet can beat the entire field, as we've seen USA win, Germany win, Australia win, New Zealand win, and Denmark win.
Yeah, a bit of a mistake here by Germany. They've messed up with their board drop, and they've gone wide, fallen off the foils, and just opened a huge gate here. And they're going to have to give room to New Zealand. New Zealand own this mark against Germany. The Kiwis are going to glide in. Germany must keep clear here. They're going to be able to be faster. They could still get around the outside if they're careful here, but they opened a door they shouldn't have. A mistake by Germany, and you've got to minimise mistakes, because as you say, Todd, ultimately this fleet is so tight, mistakes are punished hugely.
So Diego Botín brings it across in 4th place. Looks like they are just going to miss out, possibly by 1 point, as it'll be Germany that will come across. And look at New Zealand. They look like they're going to get passed as well by Canada coming in.
North Star Canada doing a great job there, Giles Scott, but it's been a slightly disappointing day for the North Star Canada team. They're right in with a shot at the final. They won't be happy, but a lot of lessons learned, I'm sure, at this first event. Germany and Canada, frustrating, yeah.
So New Zealand comes across the line in 7th place as the rest of the fleet now makes their way down to that final gate and the right-hand turn to the Emirates finish line in front of the Adrenaline Lounge and the DP World Clubhouse. So we start crunching the numbers, Emily. We start looking at who's going to be the big players as we get to the event final.
There we go, the Swiss coming round there, just in front of Red Bull Italy, but left-hand side of that group there, Slingsby, 11th place. He might sneak through to 10th here. It's a last-minute dive on the inside. Not sure if he quite got there in time. He thinks he did. But, oh, my word, what a race for Slingsby. I'm not sure we want to be on board the Australian boat for the comms across the finish here. I think some colourful language could be called for, because they're going to be so heartbroken after that final race.
Who would have thought after race number 4, with the Australians finishing in 4th place, that they would come back and really struggle the way they did? And I got to think there's something going on with the boat, Steve, because they went to the back of the pack and stayed in the back of the pack after the first leg. Yeah,
they looked electrically fast. I think we'll have to find out afterwards. Both of them took their microphones away there at the end there. Chris and Tom probably wanted a private word with each other, but yeah, I mean, it was a very surprising performance, really. I think Martini Grail on board the Brazilian boat, well, I think they'll be happy with their first event. They had some standout moments, lots of lessons learned, I'm sure. But, yeah, it's a tough proving ground, SailGP.
So just over a minute away until the start of the event final here in Dubai. 60 seconds away now. Who will claim the first event at the Rolex SailGP Championship? And it's just about on, Stevie. 3 boats now will battle it out for top honors.
Yeah, well, the Rolex pole predictor's got Fletcher in the perfect position on board Emirates Great Britain at the moment, but I think what we're going to see here is a 2-boat battle for the bottom end of the start line, more towards the top of our screen. Left-hand side, keep your eyes on the black foils. Burling, he said to make a plan with 10 seconds to go. He's made it with 40 seconds to go. He is coming in hot, and our pole predictor likes likes that at the moment. Up there on the foils now. Right now, it's a battle between United States and Great Britain in the middle of the line. It's all about the timing here as they come back. Burling's fast. New Zealand are fast. How are the other boats going to react to this as we come into the line? They've wound it up on the black foils. Great Britain turns towards the line. United States show us the favourites right now, but it's all about timing. Watch for the line to turn white in 5 seconds' time. 3 seconds, and we're about to go racing here in Dubai. Perfect from Burling at the bottom of the line. New Zealand are going to lead from here. What a start from the black foils.
Pressure on here, okay? Yep.
Speed absolutely kills as New Zealand comes off the line at full speed, and now it is on for Emirates GBR and the USA to try to track him down.
Oh, I mean, they all started so well, but the boat speed of the Kiwi boat there, they looked at least 2, 3, 4 kilometres an hour faster when the gun went, and the Mark 1 sprint leader is New Zealand at Mark 1.
7 legs on this one. It's New Zealand, US, Emirates, GBR battling it out to see who will take the opening event here in the 2025 season.
2, 1, lock.
3, 2, 1. Heavy foiling, rudders on a little.
Okay, nice foiling manoeuvre there. Had to pop a little bit more lift on the rudders then to keep the boat up in the air. Just a change mid-manoeuvre there, Burling cooling. Sorry, Took was cooling there to Leo Takahashi. First boat to manoeuvre Emirates, Great Britain. The United States look like they've dropped out of breeze a bit here. Our live SailGP insights right now, brought to us by the Oracle Cloud, so that the speed, well, it favours Great Britain at the moment, but strategically, New Zealand like it, and they're setting up for a left turn at the bottom here. It's going to be tight in the pack, but I love where the Kiwis are going right now.
Oh, changed their mind.
First manoeuvre, just trying to keep the boat speed in, I think, is the move here, Todd. They want to stay fast. Everyone else is probably going to have to follow. United States might be able to turn to the left, but they're going to be slow, just trying to sneak across in front of Emirates Great Britain.
So at gate 2, the DP World Gate, it is New Zealand out in front. Emirates GBR decides to follow the Kiwis, and US SailGP will have the right side of the course to themselves.
They will, and they made a nice gain out that side last time. Lisa, last time we saw the United States SailGP team make a real gain with that left turn. I'm surprised the Kiwis let them go there. What are you seeing out on the water?
I do think it's been quite strong this left-hand side. I know there's been big gains on the right-hand side in terms of pressure, but there's a really nice angle to the mark as they head out this way. Interestingly, Great Britain have decided to go back. I think they were getting a little bit of bad air of New Zealand, but USA were the ones that stayed on the foils for longer, so that's going to be a huge distance gain for them.
Next cross will be fairly crucial here, I think, Todd. We got Burling manoeuvring out on the boundary. Right of way is going to be with Canfield. Shows him first at the minute, but what can the United States team do? Can they get foiling? They're up and foiling on board the United States. This is a massive advantage. They have the right of way. They will be in the lead at this early stage of the race.
Emirates GBR has to dip behind the Americans, and here comes Peter Burling trying to get his boat up and foiling as well.
He's going to try and get up and foiling, but he's going to have to avoid the United States. Canfield will be in the lead halfway up this leg. Great call by the United States there. The Kiwis didn't quite be accurate enough at the bottom. They're going to struggle here a little bit, and it's Great Britain. They're sailing out to wind on that right-hand side. That's a huge turn-up for the United States.
I agree. Heading line here. Stand by. Yep. And go on board. Very light. Big header. 3, 2.
Okay, we're on board with the United States there. They're saying about header. We can see the wind had turned to the left. We're going to go back to the start.
Yep.
Looking at on board the black foils here.
Oh, guys. 100% here. We're going to the boat.
Okay, well, he's rope-a-doped, and there, as he went to the other end of the line, Burling came flying through, but look at him foiling at the gun. But, well, this race is panning out that the start is not everything.
Right.
That is for sure. It was perfect by the black foils there, but they did make a mistake at gate 2. They've lost the lead, but there's plenty of racing left here on the water as we come back with the fleet. United States must keep clear of Great Britain. Great Britain in the lead, but it's going to be the black foils with the right of way next. The lead is changing all the time here. I like where the Kiwis have gone. There does seem to be more wind on that right-hand side of the course. Can United States make the right turn with no more manoeuvres? Oh, he's trying to sneak round there, Canfield. He's trying to turn the boat towards the wind. He's off the foils. Emirates, Great Britain will be faster. Burling will split the course left. It's all about who's found the wind after gate 3. Wow, all the boats are going to be so tight here, Todd.
The breeze inside, press down into.
Here, Hannah Mills talking with Dylan Fletcher on Emirates GBR. Can they get to the inside of the US SailGP team? Well, the Americans are up in foiling, so here we go.
Yeah, well, they should be putting disturbed wind onto the British ship. The British got foiling faster. Use that speed. They're on the inside here. I like where the Kiwis are going because they've got a bit more space out there. Lisa, it seems so changeable on the water. Great Britain moves away. United States are going to be following them. Do you think the Kiwis have got a shot?
I think the Kiwis are coming back really strong. As we've seen here in Dubai, the patches of wind, they're really small, and they've brought this really nice one all the way down the course and about to do the foiling maneuver in that foiling jibe. But from where I'm sitting, it actually looks like Emirates Great Britain are going to have the advantage here.
Oh, they've got a good advantage, Lisa, that's right. And we just saw a penalty on the United States. They got a 60-metre boundary penalty. They were trying to stretch the course, but I think that was a bit of an unforced error, really. Emirates manoeuvred away first, so Emirates Great Britain in the lead. New Zealand must keep clear of the United States SailGP team, and well, we saw how crucial the decision was at the bottom of the course here. Great Britain setting themselves up to turn left. That was the way to go last time. Can Emirates Great Britain hold off the charging black foils? Kiwis are going to look to dive on the inside at gate 4.
So on the cross, US SailGP team, they make their way to the right side as Emirates GBR and the Kiwis opt for the left, and here come the Americans. Again, they will follow around.
Kiwis are going to dive on the inside. I think they've got room as they go round. Advantage New Zealand. There's going to be a protest from Great Britain.
Look how close.
They've got to keep clear. Black foils have to manoeuvre away. Wow, that was so tight. Slow turn. Green flag from the umpires there. Great Britain had to give space to New Zealand. Aggressive from Fletcher. Brilliant from Burling, and Canfield's on the back foot as we round that final bottom gate. They've got 2 more legs to go, Todd.
So up to the top of the course, then back down, then the right hand to the finish line. There you see the Rolex chasing time, and it is Emirates GBR and New Zealand locked in a great battle. Don't forget about US SailGP and Taylor Canfield and company. They are coming to the mix with some speed now.
Yeah, New Zealand up and foiling here, Todd. The Rolex chasing time there shows a slight gain to New Zealand at the moment over Great Britain. It's down to 6 seconds. Great Britain's still not foiling, so all the time New Zealand are foiling and Great Britain are not. It's gains to the black foils. Look at the speed on that. Burling, absolute perfection on that downwind leg. If I was a coach of the other teams, I'd be just drawing into the Oracle Cloud for all the data I could get on the Kiwis after this. Still only 1 boat in the fleet foiling at the moment, and that's the black foils. Little replay here, it's so tight. We're on board New Zealand as he dives inside.
We're going to have GBR here. It's a little fast mode now. Are we overlapped?
But it looked like they were overlapped to me. That's why New Zealand had to turn away at the mark there to keep clear, but they'd done enough at that point. They had dived inside. We see how tight it is there at the mark. Emirates Great Britain must give them speed, space to round the mark, but as soon as the back of that New Zealand boat leaves the mark there, it's right of way Great Britain. Burling has to turn away, and there you go. Well, he certainly milks it to the absolute limit. It's a slow turn away, but it was enough to keep the umpires happy.
Back to racing action, and here's how it changes every moment. Now it's New Zealand with a 100-meter lead over US SailGP in second place as Dylan Fletcher and Emirates GBR, they found themselves one of those patches that Lisa Darmanis talked about on the course. It's just no breeze.
Yeah, they've won, and they're back up on foils, though. Fletcher there, he's turned the boat, but he's directly behind the New Zealand boat and not on the foils. Huge advantage to the black foils at gate 5. They will turn right at the top of the course. They're going to sail downwind and then a right turn to the finish in front of the fans. What can Emirates Great... Oh, okay, there you go. Dylan said it for us. They're holding on. We look into the insights here. We can see the foiling time for USA. It's good, but unfortunately they've ended up sailing a bit too much distance on board there. So it's not all about foiling out here. It's so shifty, the wind. If you can minimise the distance as you get round this course, it can make a massive gain. And that's a big lead for Burling. Fletcher now, he's turned his eyes backward to try and defend that place from Canfield and the US SailGP team.
So it's the Kiwis, the black foils out in front. They had the best start. Can they hold on for one more leg? It's down to the bottom of the course here, then a right-hand turn to the finish line and the victory. Dylan Fletcher, Emirates GBR currently in second place. Taylor Canfield, let's see what he does. Does he roll the dice and see if he can't get another position?
Todd, I mean, I'm not sure what it is the black foils are doing, but downwind at this event, they have been absolutely magical. I put a lot of credit for that on Leo Takahashi, the flight controller, and Blair Tuke, the wing trimmer. I mean, Burling's sailing a tactical masterpiece with Liv Mackay, of course, but the boat speed they seem to have downwind is unbelievable on average. I say that and they fall off the foils, so they're not going to love me for that. Could be an opportunity for Emirates Great Britain, as we see here. The black foils are off the foils at the moment. They're looking to accelerate 30 kilometres an hour. hour. That's the magic number. Great Britain maneuver. One last chance to attack.
Let's take a look at the Emirates fly time, and it goes the way of Britain right now. It's 70%, but they are in second place, and they are closing it down just a little bit. They've got just a short amount of time to get it done, Stevie. Do they have the speed?
Oh, they nailed that last maneuver. They made a huge gain, but I think it's too little too late. Could be two more maneuvers. Hannah Mills calls it. Two more maneuvers for both boats. They've got to do a right turn at gate 6. The chasing time from Rolex is coming in the favour of New Zealand. New Zealand will make it with no more turns. This is going the way of the black foils.
And an early celebration for the Kiwis. Not quite there yet, but it's safe to say the Emirates winning moment goes the way of the black foils as New Zealand claims the first event of the 2025 season.
Oh, celebrations for the black foils. They do love the Middle East.
And look at this, the battle now on for second place. So you've got Emirates GBR. They have to close it out, but look how fast Canfield's coming in.
Yeah, there was no room there. It's too tight. No room for Canfield in there. It looked to me like Emirates Great Britain went in early.
This is the umpires, penalty USA, not entitled to mark room, go behind GBR.
Yeah, there was no overlap as the British boat touched that yellow circle. Fletcher had really lined him up to suck him into that gap. So Emirates Great Britain will sail through. They will take second. Can't blame Canfield for trying.
I was going to say, you can't blame him for trying. What do you have to lose? One position? So instead of second, they get third, but a great move and a great charge by US SailGP. And as Taylor said, had to go for it.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's what it's all about. We're out in a race, aren't we? You've got to put it on the line. And the US SailGP team, well, they should be very, very proud with this event. Same for Emirates Great Britain, final in front of their fans there. Good performance from Dylan Fletcher, but I think everyone's seen where the bar's set.
Well, it was all said and done. The Kiwis were already celebrating their victory here at the Emirates Dubai Sail Grand Prix presented by P&O Marinas.